Hello, guys. I just want to give a breakdown and a prediction to Tyler Santos versus Joanne Calderwood. Honestly, I think that Tyler Santos, I looked at the odds and the betting odds and whatever. Tyler Santos is a 4 to 1 favorite, and Joanne Calderwood is a almost 3 to 1 underdog. So if you want to bet on this fight, honestly, I'll break it down first. I'll break down the clash of styles because I went back and I watched a couple of Tyler Santos's fights. I watched the Molly McCann fight. She dominated. We'll break down the Molly McCann fight, but I'll tell you guys which fights I watched first. I watched the Molly McCann fight, and then I watched the what other fight did she have? I watched the Myra Bueno, whatever her name is, the Italian girl. I watched that fight too, and then I watched what other fight was that? The one she fought after Molly McCann. She fought that girl. She fought Jillian Robertson, and then the latest fight was Roxanne Modafferi. Okay, cool. Let's break down all the fights. So, the Myra Romero Borella, she fought her. And what stood out to me in that fight was her fight IQ is not that high. You know, it's pretty low because she's a Muay Thai specialist or Taekwondo or whatever the fuck. She's a striking specialist. And Myra Romero Barella is a ground fighter primarily. She tries to take the fight to the ground. In the first round, Myra Romero Barella actually got some success with the takedowns and she took her down. And then, you know, even though she was very active of her, Tyler Santos, she was very active getting back up to her feet. But why is she but the thing is, why is she having her back against the fence for the whole round? She should just, fish for an underhook, turn her around, and get it back to the center of the cage. And that's what her coaches were telling her in between the first round. She didn't make that adjustment. Her coaches told her, get off the fence. We don't want you against the fence because you're losing against the fence. You need to hit her and get to the center. Disengage and turn her and come back to the fence. But she didn't. At times, in the second round, she was the one enforcing the grappling against the cage. What? You're losing in that position. Why would you go back to the same position that you were losing in the first round? So what stood out to me is her fight IQ is pretty low, but her skills are high. She can grapple and she can fight and she can wrestle as well. Her wrestling is pretty good too with the Molly McCann fight. She dominated Molly McCann. That was as perfect as you could be in a fight without a finish. And the Molly McCann fight stood out to me because she used her grappling very well. She even got to mount at times. The grapevine was pretty cool. Her guard passing is pretty good too. Her takedowns from the what do you call it? From the clinch, from the double underhooks, the body lock takedowns. Those ones are pretty good because she can get right into side control. Now, let's look at Joanne Calderwood. Calderwood just fought Lauren Murphy. She lost to Lauren Murphy in a very close fight that I thought she won. And her last fight before that, she fought Jessica I, and she won that fight. Then she lost by armbar to Jennifer Mai. Then she lost by guillotine to Jessica Andrade. But what stood out to me is that Joanne Calderwood has faced better competition. But Joanne doesn't really have many wrinkles to her game. Like if you keep turning that little grinder, she doesn't have those wrinkles. Her her specialty is really striking, and she's a good striker. She can throw kicks, everything. She's good at strike. She was dominating on the feet against Lauren Murphy. Lauren took her down one time, dominated on the feet, on the ground. So I think a takedown. I honestly don't think Tyler Santos is as good on the ground as Lauren Murphy. I think Murphy's a little bit of a step up. She's a bit better. But I think Santos can dominate this fight with her grappling. I think striking with Joanne Calderwood would be kind of playing into Joanne's game. Like I've always said this in multiple videos. You never want to hook with a hooker because you don't want to fight someone where they're at their best. You typically want to fight someone where they're weakest. You don't want to fight someone where they're strongest because you're playing into their game, you're giving them what they want. And I think she should grapple more in this fight. I think that's the game plan that she needs to follow. Striking with her at times is a good idea. Obviously, you don't want to just go for takedowns and be super, like you don't want to get the takedown at any cost because you may never recover. You may lose all of your cardio. You may never recover. Seriously, you may never recover. If you put too much into a takedown and you're not able to get it, and then you gas yourself out in the process, it does not work out later on in the fight. Now, what does Joanne Calderwood need to do? She needs to keep the fight long with kicks, but if Taila Santos keeps in the pressure and comes in with tries to take you down, just sprawl. Simple stuff. Angle out, create angles, throw punches, move, circle out, throw punches, circle out, kicks, circle out, keep circling. Pretty much. That's all she needs to do. I think Calderwood has an excellent chance of winning this fight, even though she's an underdog. But the game plan is everything in this fight. It's everything. It's everything. It's everything. The game plan is everything in a fight. It's absolutely everything. You can't just fight off of instinct alone. Because you want to look at your opponent's strengths and then you want to play to their weaknesses because you want to avoid their strengths and play to their weaknesses. I think, well, Taila Santos she's very versatile because her strengths are really her striking. But she has another strength, even though her weakness is also a strength in this fight. So I understand why she's a favorite because she can grapple and she can take down Calderwood. That's the easiest path to victory, I think. Because Calderwood is not, she's not the grappler that Taila Santos is. I just don't think she's the grappler that Taila Santos is. I think if Taila gets on top with the pressure takedowns, she took down Molly McCann. She was able to dominate on the ground with Jillian Robertson. She was able to take down Roxanne Modafferi. So I think her wrestling is going to be the biggest factor in this fight. Taila Santos' wrestling is going to be the biggest factor in this fight. And I understand why she's a favorite. But if Calderwood comes in there with the right game plan and stays off the fence, crucial that she stays off the fence. She can't be on the fence. Unless she's enforcing the grappling and going for the clinch and then she's kneeing her body. If she's kneeing Taila Santos' body, okay, cool. That might work. Takedowns, avoid the takedowns against the fence. Yeah, pretty much. Stay in the center. She's going to go for single. But she doesn't really take people down in the center. She has a good double leg and a good single. She can really grapple. And she has a good body lock takedown too. So you got to watch out for the single leg. You got to watch out for the double leg. Then you got to watch out for the body lock takedown from the clinch. Those are the three things she needs to be wary of. But I think her experience may play a part in this fight. I think Calderwood actually has an excellent chance of winning this fight. But would I put any money on her? No. I would not put any money on her because it's just the chances of her winning this fight is like really, really the best chance she has of winning this fight is following a game plan, a solid game plan, and she can dominate the fight. Simple. Would I bet on it? Yeah. Would I tell you guys to bet on it? I don't know. Would I bet on Taila Santos? Nah, I don't know. I don't know who's gonna win this fight. I think Taila Santos has more tools to win, but I also think that Calderwood has experience at the highest level. So I think it's a lot closer than the odds. Let's just say that. It's a lot closer than the odds are saying that it is.